So welcome everyone, my name is Rosa. I'll be guiding you through section 1 today. Just find a nice resting place for yourself. Might be on a block, might be grounded on your mat, just whatever feels good for you. Just feel your body wherever it is. Can you feel your breath as it comes in? Can you feel your breath exhale? You may like to close your eyes if it feels safe to do so. Remember, it's your practice. Take what you want, leave the rest behind you. Remember, there's always a resting place if you've had enough. So for today's class, our intention is to surrender. So to surrender is to let go to what is, let go to grow, accept, embrace non-attachment, find stillness, find peace. So in the Sutra 1.29, it states, during yoga, you conscientiously move towards letting go. Surrendering creates space for becoming more engaged and connected with our inner wisdom and truth. We are no longer held back by limiting beliefs, repetitive thoughts. These repetitive thoughts might be grocery lists, work lists, any to-do lists, and desires for our practice to look a certain way or feel a certain way. We transcend limitations of the mind and our body and step into a deeper knowing. And even though doing so can be hard to do, it is only when we let go that the real yoga begins. I want you to think of your own personal experiences, like when everything goes our way. It does feel so good and easy and it flows. But then how do we respond when all of a sudden it stops? It stops going according to the plan. How do you feel? I know I feel stressed, agitated, anxious, worried, angry. And I'm guessing if you're human just like me, then you may feel one or more of those emotions. Anything you can't control in life is leading you to how to let go. And Eckhart Tolle says, surrender to what is and see how life suddenly starts working for you rather than against you. So what can you surrender to today? I want you to put your hands together and create some heat rubbing them very quickly. And I want you to think about where you hold all those things, all those to-do lists, where in your body do you find it hard to let go? Once you've created some heat, you can place these hands on those parts of the body that you hold all of those things. You might like to give those parts of your body a little massage with your knuckles, fingertips, hands, arms. So what can you surrender to today? I invite you to bring your hands to your heart center, and we're going to give some ah breaths a go. So as we inhale, we're going to lift our hands from our heart to our head, into the sky, hold the breath, and as you exhale, I want you to surrender and make an ah sound. Bringing your hands back to your heart center. Taking an inhale here and exhale to prepare. And inhale as you lift your hands from your heart to your head to the sky. Hold that breath. And surrender. Hands to your heart. Taking a breath here, in and out. And on your next inhale, bring your hands from your heart to your head to the sky. Hold that breath and surrender. One more just like this. Taking a breath in and out. Moving your hands from your heart to your head to the sky. Hold your inhale and surrender. Now I'm just going to take a gentle twist. So popping your right hand onto your left knee, placing your left hand behind your back, and just gently twisting towards the left hand side of the room. Feeling a gentle twist from your abdomen, not from your neck. On the next exhale, see if you can twist that a little bit further. Releasing your right hand and your left hand, bringing yourself back to the front of the room. Swap sides, so left hand over right knee, right hand behind you, gentle twist through your abs. On the next exhale, see if you can twist that a little bit further. And coming back to center, releasing your hands. Popping your left hand down beside you just for a gentle side bend. And bringing your right hand above your head towards the left hand side of the room. Feeling a nice stretch through your right side of your body. You might like to come down onto your elbow if that's your practice. Make sure you're lifting up your chest, not slouching. Don't forget to breathe. Coming back to center, take a breath here. Bring your right hand down to the floor, sweeping your left hand over towards the right side of the room. Feeling a nice side stretch through the left side. Coming down on your elbow if that feels good, making sure your sit bones are still grounded and not lifting if you're doing that. Pushing yourself back up to center. If you've got a block underneath you, you might like to remove it. Place your legs out in front of you. Bending the knees, keeping your feet flat to the ground. Going to come into boat pose. See if you can lean back a little. Making sure your chest is still lifted. See if you can bring out one leg. If your chest is still lifted, see if you can bring out the other leg. And if you feel stable, let's take 3 pulses here. So we're going to go down slightly and up. Again, down and up. Shaking is good. I'm shaking. Last pulse. And up. You can hold that. You can bring one foot down, the other foot down, and then maybe just come into a little forward bend. Just release the back a little bit. Okay, sweeping your legs around, coming up into a tabletop position. Spreading your fingers nice and wide. Let's take a few cat-cows here. Inhale to prepare. Exhale. Up through. Inhale as you tuck your chin in. arching up your back and belly towards the roof. Do it on your own time, move with your breath. You might like to close the eyes down. Last round here. When you're ready, going back into tabletop. Just move your hips. You might like to go forwards and backwards, side to side. Just go with whatever feels nice and right. Just loosening up through your hips. And when you're ready, just going back to tabletop. Just go into a child's pose, so your legs or your knees might be close together, they might be far apart. Everyone is different. Sitting back towards your heels. If your hands are flat on the ground, just create a bit of space. So coming up onto your fingertips, and we're just going to thread the needle. So we're just going to lift up our right hand, and we're going to thread it underneath the left shoulder. Palm facing down towards the ground. Sitting bones are still aimed towards our heels. If you want to, you can put your right ear to the floor and your gaze, your drishti towards the left-hand side of the room. Or you can just keep your neck in neutral position. Using your left hand for support, unraveling or taking your right hand back up to child's pose. Both hands are in front. You just take a breath here. You can do the same thing on the opposite side, so creating a bit of space, coming up into your fingertips. Now left hand underneath the right armpit. You keep your neck there neutral, or you can turn your left ear and turn it towards the floor. Your gaze underneath the right arm. If that feels good. And next exhale, use your right arm. Push yourself back up to tabletop. We're going to do a few arm balances, so we're just going to stretch out our wrists. You might like to come wider on your mat. You just have like a little plane, create some circles through your wrists. I like to bring them even wider. You go the opposite direction. Bringing them in closer. Maybe just be gentle with this one. See if you can turn one hand towards you and the other hand facing away. Maybe create some little circles through your wrists. Now swapping hands. Face the other one towards you, the other one away from your body. Let's create those little circles once again. Maybe try the other way, see what that feels like. Coming back up into tabletop. Alright, we're going to go for some tricep dips. So keeping your elbows close to your body. You can keep your knees on the ground if you want to. If you're feeling brave, you can always bring your feet up. If not, stay on your knees. And we're going to go down on 3, 2, 1. Push up. You can use your belly, you can use your whole body to get you back up again. Let's try that again. Try and keep your elbows close to your body. 3, 2, 1. Up. You don't have to go all the way to the floor. You might even just go a third of the way towards the floor, and that's okay. Let's do 2 more. So 3, 2, 1. Lower and push up. And last one. 3, 2, 1, and up. I like to just go back into child's pose. Give your arms a bit of a rest, give your wrists a bit of a rest, or a bit of a shake, rotate. We're going to make our way into our first plank. If you want to, you can stay on your knees. If you're feeling strong, you can come up onto your toes. See if you can just hold it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming into your first downward dog. So pedaling out your legs. Keeping your ears in line with your arms. I like to give your hips a bit of a shake, side to side. And then when you're ready, you can find stillness. Coming up high onto your toes. See if you can bring your shoulders in line with your hands. And we're going to get a side plank to go. So grounding down through your right hand, making sure your fingers are spread wide. We're going to twist onto our right side of the foot. You can keep your knee down if you want to, or you can have a staggered stance. So left foot in front of right, or you can put your feet on top of each other. If that's in your practice, you can raise your left hand up to the sky. Let's take just 3 quick side plank pulses here. So dipping down your hips towards the mat. So that's 1 and 2 and 3. Coming back to your plank. Either coming in child's pose or downward dog. Whatever you feel your body needs right now. If you're not already, coming up into downward dog. Coming up high onto your toes, moving your shoulders above your hands into plank. We're going to do a side plank on the other side. So grounding down through your left hand, fingers spread nice and wide. Sliding onto the left side of your foot. Remember, you can keep your knee on the floor. Make sure your chest is lifted. You can have a staggered stance, so right foot in front of left. Or right foot on top of left foot, bringing your right hand up to the sky. Or you could use that on the mat for extra balance from the fingertips. Let's take 3 side pulses here. 1, 2, and 3. Well done. Coming back into your plank and resting in child's pose for a moment. Stay in child pose. Another 3 breaths. Stretching out your triceps. One more breath. Inhale and exhale. Come back to tabletop. From here, we can make our way up to Uttanasana. Inhale and come down to Uttanasana, forward fold. Exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Adho Uttanasana and exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, hands to the sky. Sweep them all the way up. And then bring them down to this. I want us to stand in Tadasana, mountain pose, for about 5 breaths. And keeping in mind with today's theme of surrender, call all your energy back into your body and surrender from thoughts that don't help with this practice. Surrender to who you are. Ask yourself, who are you? And before you can flood with thoughts, stay in that space right before the thoughts and surrender to it. Be aware of your breath. And exhale. Engage your Pada Bandhas and stand strong in your mountain pose. Two more breaths. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Bring your feet close together. Raise your hands up to the sky. And on the exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, Uttanasana. Keeping your hands to the ground, raise your right leg up and bring it back. Step back. Step it back. From here, lower your knees and sit into the pose. Feel your hips opening. Inhale, and on the exhale, sit deeper. And if you like, raise your hands up to the sky in Anjali. Inhale and exhale, sit deeper into the pose. Stay here for 3 more breaths. Surrender into the pose. Don't fight it. And if there's limitation, that's okay too. Last one. Inhale. Bring your hands down to the ground, and on the exhale, transition into downward dog. Full plank. Inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up, locust. And exhale, down. We're going to do 2 of these. Inhale, locust. Exhale, down. Inhale, locust. Exhale, down. And this time, inhale, upward dog. And on the exhale, downward dog. You're going to stay here for 3 breaths. Paddle your feet. Raise your hips to the sky. See if you can bring your chest closer to your knees. And sit. I would stand deeper in that pose. Last breath. Inhale. And on the exhale, bring your right foot forward. Exhale. Sit deeper into the pose. Lower your knee down to the mat. And if it's comfortable, bring your hands up to the sky in Anjali and sit deeper in the pose. Making sure your knees don't surpass your ankle. And step forward, or creep up forward to sit deeper. Feel the hip open. Inhale and exhale. I'm going to stay here for 2 more breaths. If it's too deep, then you can always come back a little bit so it's not too harsh on your hips. Last breath. Inhale, and on the exhale, bring your hands back down to the mat. Inhale, and on the exhale, come down to Uttanasana. Have a slight bend. If it's too hard, bring your hands down to the ground. Stay here for 1 breath. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, hands to the sky. And exhale, sleepy. You're feeling a bit warm. Ready to get into practice? Inhale, hands up to the sky, swing them all the way up. Smooth motion, and bring your hands down to Uttanasana. Exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Uttanasana. Okay, no, forgot the name. And exhale, downward dog. Mukha Svanasana. Stay here for 2 breaths. Now bring your right leg to the front. And on the exhale, bring your hands back up. Stay here for a breath. And on the exhale, sit deeper in the pose. Inhale. And on the exhale, switch to Warrior 2. Drop your feet in the back and make sure they're aligned and your shoulders are aligned. And just be aware of the pose you're in. Sit deeper if you can manage it. 2 more breaths. Last one. Now inhale, flip your palm up to the sky, lean forward, and on the exhale, bring your hand back. Stay here for 2 breaths and feeling the stretch in your ribs and engaging your Padabandhas as well, giving you rock solid foundation. Inhale, bring your hand back to Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior Pose 2. Exhale, inhale, and at the exhale, bring your right hand to the inside of your right heel. and your left hand pointing to the sky. Sit in the pose if you can. On the next inhale, and on the exhale, we're going to straighten out our right leg in Uddita Trikonasana. I'm going to stay here for a couple of breaths. Use blocks if it's too hard. And stay here for 2 breaths. And make sure your shoulders are aligned, hips are not splaying forward and back. And stay in line. Great. Now, inhale. And on the exhale, come back to Virabhadasana 2, Warrior Pose 2. And then switch into high lunge. And on the exhale, bring your hands back to the floor. Inhale and exhale, bring your left foot forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, sweep your hands up to the sky. And back to Samastiti. Let's take a breath here, 2 breaths. And arrive fully to mat. Last one. Sweep your hands to the sky. Gradually and forward fold fluidly. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Ardha Uttanasana. And exhale, Uttanasana. Now hop or walk back to plank. Inhale. And on the exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. And we'll hold the tension out. And on the inhale, and exhale, bring your left foot to the front of the mat. Hands back up to the sky in high lunge. And on the exhale, Virabhadasana 2. Stay here for 2 breaths. Sitting deeper into the pose. Last one. Now flip your left hand facing the sky. Inhale, lean forward, and exhale, bring it over your head. Placing your right hand on your thigh and not on your knees. And making sure your alignment is straight. Inhale, and on exhale, sit deeper. One more breath. Inhale, and on the exhale, Virabhadasana 2, Warrior Pose 2. Inhale, and on the exhale, bring your left hand to the mat inside of your left heel, and the right hand to the sky. Stay here for 1 breath. Now inhale, and exhale, and straighten out your left knee, landing in the Uddita Trikonasana. Use the block if that helps. Then hands up, nice and straight, and stretch. Beautiful. 1 more breath. Bring your hand down back to the floor. Shifting your heel at the back in high lunge and coming down to Uttanasana. Inhale and then exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway halfway fold. And exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, hands to the sky. And exhale, Samastiti. Staying here for 3 breaths. Allowing your breath to catch up with us. Not to overwhelm ourselves as well. 2, and
moment, to the present, and not engaging with thoughts that tend to disturb us. Inhale, hands to the sky, sweep them all the way up to the sky. Then one fluid motion, exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. Step back into plank. Inhale, and on the exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward dog. And exhale, downward dog. Now lift your right leg to the sky. And on the exhale, plant it between your two hands, or palms. Inhale, hands to the sky in high lunge. And on the exhale, Virabhadrasana. 2. Inhale. Flip your hands to the, flip your palms up, lean forward, and exhale. Pose. What is this one called again?
With the Peaceful Warrior.
Peaceful Warrior? Peaceful Warrior. Inhale, Warrior 2, and exhale. Bring your hands down with your shoulders aligned in a straight line with left hand pointing to the sky. Inhale, and on the exhale, straighten out your knee. Use the block to assist you should you need it. And stay here for 2 more breaths. 2. Now, staying here, bend your knee like you were before, and bring your hands together in prayer. Take a deep breath in, and on the exhale, twist to the other side. Okay. That's it. And keeping your elbows straight, and the feet at the back, maybe bring it back to high lunge so it's easier. Stay here for 2 breaths. Now we're going to transition from here to a side plank. So bring your left hand to the floor and bring your right leg slowly. You can either walk it or bring it in one smooth motion. Stack it up your left knee, or you can do the split version, whatever is easier for you. And if it's too hard, bring your left knee down. You stay here for 3 breaths. And for those who are in advanced practice, you may lift your right leg up, creating a split. That's it. And it's okay wherever you are. Last breath. And bring your hand down to the floor in full plank. Inhale. And then exhale. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Let out any tension. Catch a breath here for 3 breaths. Bring your chest closer to your thighs. Last one. Now inhale, bring your left leg, raise your left leg to the top. And on the exhale, bring it forward in between your palms. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, warrior 2. Drop your feet back, align yourself. Inhale, lift your hands to the sky, and exhale, reverse of peaceful warrior. Inhale, and exhale, peaceful warrior 2. Inhale, and on the exhale, bring your hands to the left hand to the floor, right hand to the sky, placing it inside of your left heel. Take a deep breath in, And align your hips, make sure they're not too forward or too back. Inhale, and on the exhale, straighten your left leg, landing in Udita Trikonasana. Use this as an opportunity to stretch the right side of your body and bring your hip into alignment. You can also feel the stretch in your shoulders. 2 more breaths. Now bring your hands to prayer position and bend your left knee and your left elbow landing on your left knee. And your elbows stacked in the same line. Inhale, and on the exhale, you're going to twist from your hips facing the other side of the room. And lifting your heels at the back to high lunge. 2 more breaths. Inhale, and on the exhale, inhale, and on the exhale, bring your right hand to the mat next to your feet and transition to side plank with the left leg going either slowly or step by step on top of your right ankle. It can either be in splits or stacked one against another with your right knee bent, or with your left leg. For advanced practitioners, raise up your left leg to give you more tension, more of a challenge. And if it's shaking, that's wonderful, that means you're getting stronger. 1 more breath. Inhale, and on the exhale, bring your hand back down to the floor. Inhale, and on the exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog, and on the exhale, downward dog. Stay here for 3 breaths. Lifting your hip bone all the way to the sky, and your chest going closer and closer to your thigh. Inhale, and on the exhale, walk, skip, hop to the front. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, sweep your hands to the sky. Bring it with me in Anjali and bring it to your chest. Samastiti. Shall I do one more? Make it a bit longer because I'm done.
Yeah.
Shall I do one more standing pose?
We can bring us down into Shavasana.
Okay.
Find a way to ease us into Shavasana from there.
Okay. Because I think there's enough sweat.
Because no one else is having a go, so you're last, actually.
I think I want to try one more pose. We'll do a standing pose. Inhale, we're going to transition into the dancer's pose. Inhale and exhale. I want to first, inhale and come into Tadasana. Calming yourself a little bit. Finding a strength, a foundation. Becoming aware of our Padabandhas. Spreading your toes. Creating a vacuum in the middle of your feet. And really grounding ourselves in. Rolling your shoulders back. Elongating your spine. Tucking your hip bone just a little bit. Standing in complete alignment with the ground and the sky. On the next breath, take a right foot to the front, shifting your weight. your right leg, then folding your left knee and using your left hand to hold the left ankle. Now, Prithvi Mudra, which is your forefinger and your thumb together. Take a deep breath in and find your balance, activating your Padabandha. On the next inhale, prepare, and on the exhale, just bring your hand forward. And it helps if you have your drishti on your finger or straight ahead. Inhale, and on the exhale, tilt hinge in your hips, hips, and bring bend forward. This is Karma 2, and if you're comfortable and rooted here, inhale, and on the exhale, lift your leg up. Feel the crack in your back, which is great. And one more breath. And then slowly bring your feet down to the floor and your hand back down to the side. Coming back into Tadasana. 3 breaths here. Shake up your leg if there's any tension. One more breath to calm ourselves down and recenter ourselves. Now, take one step forward with your left leg, shift your weight onto it, and folding your right knee and hold it with your right hand. With Prithvi Mudra, raise your hand to the front, fixing your drishti, which is your gaze, to either your fingers or to a space right in front of the room. Once you activate your Padabandha and find your balance, slowly hinge at the hips and bend forward. Once you find your balance, you try and lift your leg up. Standing here for 2 more breaths. Last one. And bring your feet down to the floor and release your hand to the side. Standing in Tadasana for 3 breaths. Raise your hands to the sky and forward fold fluidly to Uttanasana. Halfway lift. Up and down. Exhale. Coming down to tabletop. And then seating your buttocks onto your heels. And coming down to Sukhasana. I'd like to do a bit of breath work before we go down to Shavasana. When I say so, you inhale, and when I say hum, you exhale. It will increase in speed as it goes. So inhale, hum, exhale. Preparing for it, take a deep breath in and exhale. Soham, 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 Soham. You can either stay here or make your way down to the mat for Shavasana. Soham means I am that. That I'm going to surrender to who I am, accept all that I am. Remember to breathe in and out with full awareness. There's no to-do lists. There's no shoulds. There's just your breath. This time that is only yours. Showing gratitude to our body for all the amazing things it does for us. Saying thank you to our spirit, who's still holding on strong despite all that we have to face. And thank you to our hearts for still being open. If it's not, it's never too late. Inhale love. Exhale any negative emotions, whether it be anger or resentment or expectations. Inhale gratitude. Exhale expectations. Inhale acceptance and exhale judgment. Inhale compassion and exhale standards, unrealistic standards. Inhale abundance and exhale limitations. Thank you for practicing with me today. We stay here for another 2 to 3 minutes. slowly arriving back to our mats. Between your toes, see your fingers if you're ready for it. Slowly rise up, shifting your body to the side. Getting up to the mat slowly. Keep your eyes closed. Taking a deep breath in. And the exhale, bring your hands in Anjali. Showing gratitude for the practice. Inhale, bring your hands up to your forehead. Maybe think only good thoughts. Bring your hands to your lips. Maybe speak good things. And bring your hands to your heart. Maybe always feel good things. And maybe always feel free to love. Exhale, open your eyes. Namaste.
Wowzers. Well done, team. Welcome to Saturday. So how did you go? Rosa, how did you go?
Yeah, I was nervous at the start because that was my first time taking section one. I rely heavily on the notes that I wrote for myself, but then once you get started, you slowly just let it go and know what's happening.
So you, I mean, you, obviously you read your beautiful quotes at the start
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
notes, and then did you have also the sequence laid out?
Yeah, I
in
just
place?
had like some keywords, like side band, side this.
And did you keep referring to it, or did you?
No, I thought that I would. Yeah, but I've just totally forget what to do. Yeah, it's happened.
And so you did it all that you planned?
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. Anyone else think also went?
It's really natural, it's really comfortable, it's like ease. Yeah. Flow also short, top notch.
Yeah, and the quotes at the start were beautiful. And yeah, I could tell you were slightly nervous within like the first 30 seconds, but then I think you dropped in pretty comfortably and yeah, held the space well. And it's good flow, it's good practicing.
Yeah, as usual, relaxing voice always helps me drop right down. I love how I always say the same thing every time because I'm quite amazed at how quickly you're so confident and your flows really well, complete natural. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. You the third week in or fourth week in, and you just natural. It's great. Usually it takes a little longer to do that with the ease that you're doing it. So congratulations.
Thank you. Once you get started, you want to keep going.
So if you want to progress from there, what I would suggest is try mirroring for your sitting, side stretches and things at the start. That's a good challenge next. Like to step up your own challenge to mirror that. Otherwise, just keep doing what you're doing. It's great. With your cat cow, it often people tend to do it slightly differently, but I'm a big believer that your inhale is when you do the back bend, so when you're opening the chest. So consider how you want to breathe. If you're opening the chest, it feels more natural to breathe in rather than breathe out. Breathe out and you're closing the chest. So curling the spine, that's when you want to exhale. So in cat cow, you inhale to the cow and you exhale to the cat. And sometimes people do the other way, teachers out there, whatever. But I think that's a good habit to inhale. And even it gets confusing. Is this the arch or is this the arch? I mean, technically it's kind of both. You're arching the back and you're putting the back into an arch. So either way, you're putting the back into an arch actually. However, this makes more sense to me to actually be arching the back because it's kind of like you're extending the spine, and in that extension, you create the arch. Whereas with a flexion, it's more like you're creating a curl or a hunch, or a hunch in the back, curl in the back. So I would tend to say inhale to arch, exhale to curl, to hunch, or to flex. Again, it's not 100%, it has to be that way. But if we choose a way, then that's my recommendation. Inhale, arch, exhale, hunch, curl, flex. What else could you say? Round the spine. Anything else? Jan? Keep it up. Well done. So that how you go. Yeah, it's a nice longer one, which I welcome, so that's great.
I think I made it a point to just practice and do it without notes. Last couple of classes. So I can see improvements there. I didn't feel crippled without my notes, so I'm happy about that. And the flow went a little better. There's still obviously hiccups where I'm kind of like second guessing myself and it doesn't flow as easily. And I think that brings people practicing out of the flow as well. So
when
I either get the sides mixed up or the name and I'm kind of talking to myself. I'd like not to do that in the future sessions. I also realized I wasn't rushing as much as I usually do. There's a bit more slowing down today. And I think a couple of the inhales and exhale, I got mixed up. A couple of times at least.
Everything else feel this sequence?
Did well without saying that about a few times, especially at the end, that breathing. Did you have that planned or?
I did it in the previous track, but then when you said surrender, I went, yeah, I'm going to do that. Because
Love that. So, just make it one. I don't know if you saw me doing that, but I love it.
Yeah, it's good practice. I was gonna like say during it, like for feedback, like when you're saying to put your foot like in front, to say like put it in between your hands or outside, but then like literally the next round you like started saying it. You like picked up on yourself. Because sometimes people aren't watching, like sometimes I'm not looking, and then I'm like, oh, do I put my hand on the inside or outside? Yeah, you pretty much started doing that straight after. And your voice is really nice. You did the breathwork stuff. That was
I'm going to use it as part of a practice every time I do it.
mm,
It's getting good to use it.
yeah, no.
I felt like it was all around us. That's magical, actually.
I went to I was almost like gonna open my eyes at the end because I was like, is that her singing or is that like music playing? I wasn't sure, but I'm like, no, this is like Shavasana, just keep your eyes closed, stay present. Was it?
Yeah.
You were singing, oh, that was you singing at the end. Oh, I thought it was a track.
Really?
Oh, what? I'm so you were singing that?
Yeah.
I thought it was music.
It was the music, she's kidding me.
Oh, no,
Oh, the
because
soham, right? The soham must be, you mean the mantra at the end?
Yeah,
No,
I
that wasn't me.
Anytime I was like, wow, she's really good.
what actually happened to me this week, I tried to leave yoga studio in Grosvenor and the girl started singing at the end. I felt rude and I was like, I just have to look and see if it's her. And she was singing it. And I was like, holy shit. And I said to her, yeah, holy shit, is that your voice? And she said, yes. And then she's been doing it, she does it in all her classes. So yeah. Did you try that next time?
Give it a go.
Yeah.
That would sound appealing.
Yeah.
This guy says that. That's good.
How long have you been studying here?
September? Beginning of September.
True. I must have been out for ages.
That was great. So that really stepped up. It's see your progress. It's wonderful. Really wonderful to see. There was something I forgot what it was.
Was it the dance that goes? Oh, was the placement of the form? Was that?
Yeah, actually, that's no. I was just thinking of some because you're careful to choose your language, which is important. And so I was thinking at one point, yeah, it was a dancer where you said to place your right hand on the right ankle. Nothing wrong with that, but it's always good to try to bring in more descriptive language, let's say, if we can. So I would say catch your right foot with your hand, because you're kind of lifting up and sort of doing that.
I didn't even say hold, did I?
Sorry?
I just said, I didn't even say hold, I just said bring your hand right hand to your.
Something like that.
Yeah, okay.
So you can be one can be very mechanical with the instructions. which is fine. But if you the next step is to, okay, how can we be more descriptive, use more flourishing language to. So that was just the one thing I thought of in that moment. My feedback to you is you are your greatest critic, and which is kind of normal, really. But that is a process for you to really push through at some point, as in, don't be so hard on yourself, and particularly during the class, when you forget a word or not sure or whatever. It happens even when you've been teaching for years, you still forget things. You still forget what's the yes or what side am I on or whatever. You make boo-boos along the way. It's perfectly natural for everyone to do that. So when it happens, don't just don't make it a big deal. Not that you're making it a big deal, but I can see you getting upset, almost like there's this little burst of anger at yourself, like, damn, I haven't got it right. Like you can feel that from.
No, that's not good.
So you need to let go of that. It's almost like the age-old theory of yoga for all of us to why are we even doing this practice? We're here to transcend ourselves, really. Transcend this persona, the person who we think we are, who we're confused that we are. We're divine. We're divine consciousness. And within that divine consciousness, there's perfection there. Each and every one of us, we are absolute perfection. Yeah, we're having this human experience, which, the human experience is very imperfect. It's always bumbling around, trying to work itself out. So, we've got to get over that human perfection and realize our true nature. That's what we're doing. That's the whole reason we're doing this practice. So the more and more we get as we start to realize our true nature, then the less the imperfection of the humanness bothers us. It tends to just drop away. And then it's just a bit of a joke. Oh, there I am. Forgetting something or doing the wrong word. Because it's part of the human experience to do that. So, yeah. That's the message to everyone. It's not just to you. It's all of us. That's the name of the game, in a sense. But yeah, I'm so impressed with your progress.
Yeah, I remember the first time.
Sorry?
First time it wasn't all that great. It was very choppy.
Oh, yeah.
It was in good fun, but still.
It's still good. It's all good. It's just that it's good to see that there's a progression. That's what we're kind of looking for. If you're just perfect the whole time, it's like, why are you even here? So yeah, well done. Well done, Matthew. So let's keep that up, team, and let's keep practicing, and next week we'll go again. Sandra, are you here just dropping in today, or are you moving into Saturdays?
Moving to Saturdays.
Great, wonderful. Just Saturdays, or will you do Friday and Saturday?
Just Saturdays. So I've just done Fridays.
Yeah.
And now I'm picking up
Cool. All right. Well, welcome to our Saturday team. Really happy. So you haven't done one of these yet, have you?
No, I haven't done any teaching yet, so it's just, yeah, it's usual consider about doing, but like, yeah, I feel that, yeah, it's gonna be, yeah, I'm excited to do the journey as well, I definitely want to get into it, because, yeah, it's,
So generally, what the kind of the way we structure this is we do usually share an hour session between 4 people. So everyone does a 15-minute segment. So like an intro segment, next segment, third segment, and last segment. So you think of how you have a class running, and then you sort of do the segment according to where you're at the time. So yeah, so next week, yeah, so I mean, sometimes we do this on the fly a bit, we can just kind of wing it, but I do recommend, if you can, to have a little practice like these girls obviously did. They did practice and create a sequence that showed some substance to what they're doing. So I don't know. Do you think you might be ready to have a go next week? Try a section. Yeah. Fantastic. Maybe start with section 1, the first one. Usually it's kind of there's no absolutes.
so the intro.
So it's the intro. It's starting, opening the sequence. So ideally setting attention to class, practice, whether it's physical, spiritual, or whatever, and then so Rosa did that beautiful shooting some quotes and whatnot. So you don't have to do that, but that's what we want to do. And then the idea is when you start warming people up, you could do some breath work at the start, so on your own. That's an option. It's not an absolute. But the idea is it's the warm-up section. So you're doing some warm-up stretches, which it's totally up to you. You could be sitting like we did today with some side stretches, a few twists, going into your cat-cows and things like that, maybe a few lunges or whatever, standing dogs. The idea is that the second section would usually be where you'd start sun salutes, where you'd start doing a little more dynamic, so it's in a sense you're building up to the sun salute, the first section. But you could start lying down, you could start standing, there's no absolutes. But that'd be great. If you do section 1 next week. Section 2, anyone?
I was just going to say I've got some wedding commitments.
So you're not here next week?
So I won't be here.
Okay, well, I mean, probably Mel or Christina will be.
And section 2 is the other one.
Right, okay. Well, the following week, maybe. Week 1, section 2, eh? Dennis, you can jump back in the saddle next week?
I could probably do like sun salutations and couple. Yeah,
Section 2.
bit of that, yeah.
Yeah, and start with the massive thing. Right. 3 or 4? 4. Yeah. We'll give Mal or Christina the option of 3. Is anyone else in our group? Can we go? Gemma, yes. Yeah. Gemma. So Gemma, Christina, or Mal will do the section. Cool stuff. Any questions? I also wanted to say well done for bringing in some prep work for arm dancing. Some prep, you did some kind of warm-up stuff for arm dancing.
Yeah.
Push-up sequence and then the side plank. That was great. Yeah. I suggested that. That was good. Good to see that. Well done.
Section 1, do section 1 and section 2. And do section 2. I'll give you this.
I feel like I've left it, I guess.
feel like there have been some floating around.
Mine's got heaps of writing on it from whoever had it before. Yeah.
We'll have a bit of a poke around and see if we can find it.
I'll double check at home. It has been like 6 months. I'll have a look.
We'll have a look here if it's not.
I know which one. Yeah, there's like someone's writing on it.
You should recognise your own writing.
No, it's someone else's writing. I think someone had it before or something. Yeah.
Oh, right. Oh yeah, another thing, Shalavasana. What's Shalavasana?
No, Shavasana is, what is Shavasana? Shoulders? The shoulders?
No, do you remember you guided us through Shalavasana? Or you said it was Shalavasana, but it wasn't. you were guiding us through Bhujangasana. Bhujangasana is cobra. And Shalavasana is locust, which is similar, but Shalavasana is the locust pose where you lift. There's different variations of it, but generally you might have the arms behind you and you lift up the legs as well.
Okay,
Locust.
so what did I do?
You guided us through Cobra, Bhujangasana,
Bhujangasana.
but you called it Shalavasana.
Oops.
But saying that, well done on your Sanskrit. Your try.
That's what I was going to say too, I forgot. Yeah.
Which is good.
All those words.
Yeah. Well, she's bound to be good at it because it's in her roots.
Still, I mean, I am surrounded more compared to others, but I speak Tamil.
Oh, you're Tamil, yeah, that's right. But still, it's all
But I'm exposed to it, so it's in there.
Sanskrit.
It's all in there.
All right, let's come back at 22:03. It's 1:45. Come back at 20:03. So lunch break. We're doing arm balancing, so my recommendation is don't have a heavy lunch. I mean, have lunch, but don't eat a lot or too much. Or anything heavy. And salad I bought had red onion in it. I hope this will go in there. It just stays in my mouth for enough. I don't recommend any of you kiss me today. Let's have a look in our manual first, or we digest our food a little more. Arm balances, which would be in the second section, I guess.
What's that? Which section is that?
Somewhere, it's always magical, you can hide and seek to find our lectures. Well, you guys probably not so much, you've probably got pages, but I don't have pages at all. Okay, it's the beginning, it's the first lecture actually in the second section. So, you know, there's a second lot of index. So page 8 of the second section. Does that make sense? So yeah, that section that you're reading doesn't have it. So you go past halfway, you go about almost 2/3 of the way. So you pass the wonders lecture, you pass the meditation lecture, and then the next one is arm balancing. All there?
What's the page? The number on this page is 296. What's the back?
What's yours say?
Mine doesn't have one.
Oh, you're like me. No pages. Page limits.
But there's this, is the one after the teacher training manual. On the left, yeah.
Hello?
We should have been.
You've got page numbers too.
All right, so let's have a little bit of a read. Arm balances represent strength, grace, courage, and mental focus. Who here can do some arm balances?
So side plank didn't count.
I mean, I don't know. It's kind of you could call it an arm. It is an arm balance. Yeah, absolutely, because you're balancing using your arm to help you balance.
Are you using headstands, crawl, crane?
What a headstand is a head balance.
No, headstands are handstands.
Handstand is kind of one of the ultimate arm balances. What are some other arm balances that you can do? That you're using just the hands to balance? Crow?
Crane.
Or crane?
The wild thing is that's an arm balance because you need
What's this one that we did?
Yeah, Ashtapakrasana.
Yeah, that one.
Ashtapakrasana. The 8-pointed balance.
Yeah, okay.
The other ones come to mind?
Oh, there's one where they go. So the other exit leg is extended. I'm looking about it.
Well, that's one-legged crane, I think, is what you're saying, potentially. Yeah, one-legged crane. Ekapada Bakasana. No one else does? Handstand, yes, absolutely. That's kind of like the ultimate handstand.
There's no pose where you're like holding yourself like that, because you can push yourself, but not like permanently holding.
Yes, you can. If you're in lotus, you can. Yeah.
Is that be an arm?
Yeah, absolutely. Tolasana and Lolasana is the slight variation between those two. Yeah, good one. Any more? Come on. Do we know Mayurasana? Ever heard of that one? The peacock pose?
I forgot the
Technically,
That's the one that goes like this.
is it in the front? You're putting this in the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then extend the legs out.
So
I'll show you later after. There's just my food.
when you lie down like this, but then balancing with just these two. Isn't it?
Yeah, but how did the legs go? You sort of doing it's just straight out?
So you prepared us beautifully before with the wrist work like that. Peacock pose, Mayurasana. Forearm balance, Pincha Mayurasana,
Oh, yeah.
which is a forearm balance, but it's still using the arms.
Is that Scorpio? Scorpion?
Well, scorpion is like a variation. Yep. Pincha Mayurasana is the feathered peacock, and scorpion is black one. Yeah. Can't remember exactly the Sanskrit, but yeah. Scorpion, so Pincha Mayurasana is just on the forearms, and the body's pretty much, you try to have it straight. And then scorpions when you go to back bend in that position.
What about the bridge with one leg up? Would that be considered an imbalance? Chakra, something,
Really?
because there's still,
We've still got one leg on the ground. And then there's Ekapada Kundinyasana, which is, I think sometimes called the flying lizard pose. So there's the A and the B. This one's the A,
oh, wow.
Wow.
and this one's the B.
Would be good at b-boy dance. That's what it looks like, one of those is like
So crazy.
That's why what I put down sometimes when people say, how did you come to yoga? I say, well, I used to be a break dancer when I was a kid. And then when I grew up, I thought, oh, let's do like break dancing. Yeah, they're the main ones, I'd say.
I want to see some breakdancing videos now.
Be like the premiere, catch me doing things when I was young. So, okay, let's have a look. Arm balances represent strength, grace, courage, and mental focus. They help us to connect with the present moment. When we add the challenge of balancing on our hands or arms instead of our feet, the level of mental focus required increases. Arm balances can also help to increase feelings of self-confidence, courage, and inner strength. And they're a playful way of approaching our practice and our bodies with a sense of curiosity, fun, youthfulness, and limitlessness. So, arm balances for different levels of practice. There's many different arm balances to choose from. Not really that many, but yeah, there's a few. The unique way we teach at Summer Healing allows students to work through kramas, various levels, so the student can safely understand the foundation of the asana and how each one is built. A key component for arm balances is a strong core. You also need to build up strength and stability in the wrists and explore your sense of courage and playfulness. There's an arm balance available for all different levels. It's certainly true that some of these poses rely mainly on muscle, but others also rely on flexibility, body positioning, and leverage than on brute force. When you understand how to complement your strength with flexibility and leverage, these arm balances lose their mystique and you can work towards mastering them. They demand effortless effort. They build strength in your arms, shoulders, chest, abdomen, and back. They promote deep flexion of your trunk and hips, enhance strong spinal twisting, and increase your mental focus. In addition, arm balances can increase mind-body strength. They help us overcome challenges through insight, consciousness, and patience. Mastering poses you once thought were impossible, you naturally start to wonder what other impossibilities you might be able to overcome. Yes. So, that's all very true. They do require strength, but not necessarily brute force. Just look at me. I'm not a particularly strong guy. I don't have big muscles. I couldn't lift a very heavy weight. But I can quite comfortably go into one arm balances. So for me, there's some strength there, but it's also a combination of all those other things. Just understanding how to leverage my body in the right in the space I'm working. There's a certain amount of flexibility obviously required, and it's just understanding some of the concept like bandhas. Bandhas really helps to give you that strength to be able to. Generally, most arm balances we say will fly. The poses where you take flight to a certain degree. To take flight, it really helps to engage your bandhas. So Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha. Have you done the bundles section? Yeah. So, yeah, and yeah, obviously a certain amount of flex. It's not that you need to be super flexible for arm balances, but it's some flexibility in there as well. Because for a crane pose, if you can't get your knees to the upper arms, someone's really super tight down there, they cannot get here, they're not going to be able to get into it. So you can't get your knees up into almost into the armpits. That's the best position for a crane. If you're right down there, it's actually a lot more difficult. So it's got to be up there. Yeah, it hurts. Oh, you're doing there. We'll have a bit of an exploring section. Let's read through the rest of this. So, and yeah, so the bandhas use also, of course, Hasta Bandha. Hasta Bandha is Hasta Bandha? A hand bandha. So the bandha we use in the hands. Probably the most important of all, really. Because if you just, with a limp hand on the ground and then trying to hold it in that work, you need to really be strong in the hands. You need to have the fingertips nice and wide, pressing into the fingertips, pressing into the heel of the hand, really activating the hands. Because otherwise, if you just limp in the hands, all the pressure, try it with me, get on your hands and knees, and just go limp in your hands and put the weight over your hands, and you feel that all the pressure is in the wrist, yeah? But then if you spread the fingers wide and activate the hands, and that, what happens then?
You release pressure from your wrists.
Yeah, I mean, it's still there, but
It's still there.
but everything else is taking on the load as well. The arms as well, aren't they? Like the actual arms themselves take on the load, they share it with the wrists. When you lift, the wrists take on all the load. When they're active, everything works together. So just that bandha itself makes a lot of big difference to try and give you that strength. So in a few arm balances, including Lolasana and Tolasana, those are the ones you mentioned before, most of your body weight hangs from your shoulders. These poses demand a lot of strength in the upper arms, shoulders and chest, as well as in the abdomen and legs. So that's, you need to be able to have a lotus to be able to do those ones, because without lotus you get always going to have one leg on the floor. If you can do a full lotus, then you can get the legs off the floor.
It's just going to spring out everyone.
You got a lotus. Can you give that a go? Did it for a moment. Good. Well, if you can't, don't force it. Lotus is not something you just pop into if you haven't trained yourself to get in there. Lotus can be really damaging to your body if you're not ready for it. And some bodies just will never do lotus, so you don't need to worry about it if that's us.
So what's a krama for that? Tolasana? If you can't do lotus?
If you can't do lotus, well, you can still do, like say krama with a half lotus, and you still lift up like that. And even though I've got one foot on the ground, it's still working. I'm still, there's work happening. It's working my upper body, it's working my core. all the things, not as strongly as if both legs are off the ground. So that's a definite possible karma.
One-handed one?
Now we're talking breakdowns, are we?
Are there one-hand arm balance poses?
It probably is. I mean, you know, there's so many funky variations of poses that people have also come up with, and traditionally, I think. I don't know. Well, actually, one would be the peacock pose, one up. That one's. You just see like that. Listen on. So some arm balances, your body weight hangs through your shoulders, using the upper arm, shoulders and chest, as well as the upper and legs, like those ones that we just looked at. But most arm balances, you support yourself by placing one or both legs on your upper arms. In some of these poses, there's another one, like Titibhasana. Do you know what Titibhasana is? That's a good name, isn't it? Titibhasana. But actually, what does Titibhasana mean? Take it literally. It's firefly. Firefly. Firefly pose. One I can't do. See, I don't have the hips for this one, but it's the one where you go like that and then you straighten the legs. Yeah, legs all nice and straight. Well, I'm doing it, but without, you know, ideally your legs are up like that. So, yeah. See, often, not to be, to generalize, but often guys find it easier in a sense to hold their body weight, so to be able to come into certain arm balances easier to some degree. But then usually we don't have the hips to do them as gracefully as most women who can hold their body weight do. So that one there, Firefly, I mean, I don't think I'd ever be able to do it pitch perfect. I just don't have the body for it, no matter how much I train. But you see a lot of women doing it really, you know, beautifully. Just because of, you know, we've got different shaped hips, generally speaking. So, yeah, it's relative. So like Titibhasana and Bakasana, you can reduce the work of lifting your body by positioning both legs on the upper arms so that your forearm bones bear most of your weight. In other arm balances, one leg rests on one arm while the other leg is unsupported, such as Ekapada Kundinyasana, that one there. Yeah. Extra power from your leg, abdominal and back muscles to lift your unsupported leg and prevent over twisting in the upper torso. So yeah, that one there is quite strong. Core is what you need for that one. And that's all in my belly. But also strengthen the legs to lift them up and hold them up. So, but you know, using the bandhas there as well. I'm drawing the energy in and up. So there's that real sense of to be able to fly, it's like lifting in and up. I mean, a perfect, can you guys do the crow pose or the crane pose? Is that a possibility? Have you explored that? Yeah. Yeah, it does happen that the pressure goes there, And is that what you're saying, that's just a challenge for you?
I can do it from there.
Let's have a little go at crow or crane.
Isn't one of them like your never going to shop armpits almost?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, you want to get the highest you can go, the better. The higher up, the better. If you lower down, it becomes a bit trickier actually.
I forget the difference between crow and crane. Straight hands.
Lower?
Sorry?
Is it like on the side
Or is it straight?
or lower?
So it's essentially crane is straight arms and crow is bent arms.
Mm.
Oh.
But a lot of people end up doing that for crow as well.
So is that not right?
Sorry?
That's not right?
This,
Yeah.
it's not the best for you because you end up creating obtuse angles. So often what happens in this variation, you look at my wrist,
Yeah.
Mm.
yeah, there's an obtuse angle.
Mm.
So not a perfect right angle. So that over time, that's going to hurt my wrists.
Mm.
So ideally, you want to have a nice right angle. So even if I'm bending the elbows, stacking the elbows over the wrists,
Mm.
and then my wrists would be okay because it's a right angle. So always, when we're putting pressure on our joints, we always need to avoid obtuse angles. Always looking for nice right angles, joints stacked, generally speaking. As soon as you create these angles that are off and there's pressure there, you just think, if you're building a building or something and the foundation's like that, it's not going to hold the floor very well, is it? There's going to be a lot of pressure in that joint, eventually cracks. But if it's nice and straight, then it's going to hold. So it's just physics. But because sometimes things are easier with the obtuse angles, we get into bad habits of doing things with the obtuse angles. They're easier to begin with, but long term they're not, because long term it's just going to cause issues in the body. This is something that we keep practicing. So just making good habits to start with. Always think of stacking your joints, and then the angles are at a right angle. I mean, if it's a little bit back like this way or that way, it doesn't matter, but if it's that way or that way, then that's the wrists, they move, the hinge joints, aren't they? Hinge joints, wrists, you sure, the hinge joints. They have a bit of rotation, but not much. Hips or shoulders. So mostly the hinge joints. And so that the backwards and forwards is okay, but out to the side is not good for our wrists. And then the same goes for your knees, and that's something, this is not arm balancing now because it doesn't affect the knees, but it's the same theory that if you're in a lunge like that, again, you're in an obtuse angle, and that's putting pressure on that knee that it doesn't need. If the knee's right above the ankle, no pressure, very little pressure. So the knee likes that, the knee doesn't like that. And again, people see this all the time in classes. One of the biggest corrections that you make is to take people back from those obtuse angles which are putting unnecessary pressure on their knees. Either that way or the other one, classic one, let me just show you from the front. Going into Warrior 2, let's say from a high lunge, You drop the left heel down, what happens? Just naturally, the hips rotate. And what's happening? My knee follows. And look at that, those obtuse angles into that knee. Knees going, don't like that. So, it's all about, you need to have really good awareness of what you're doing to your body in these positions. So you're opening up the hip, but then you've got to resist with your thigh, essentially. You've got to use the power of the inner thighs to resist the knee coming in. So it creates more of an opening in the hip, but that's okay, the hip can do that. It's got the rotation there to be able to open further. And then when we do that, we come into the position where the knee stacked above the ankle, not too far forward, not floating in, where you're creating those nasty obtuse angles. Every class, people are doing that. Because most people haven't got their awareness in their body. They're not really tuned in to what they're doing. And a big part of that is just the level of awareness. It needs to be built up over time. And I think one of the difficult things is the new age of yoga is that people just think, vinyasa sounds good, I'm going to go and try that. They've never done any yoga class, yoga before. Whereas if you started in a beginner's course and really worked your way up, you gain that awareness, you gain those tips. So I'm getting people in my hot vinyasa class every Wednesday night here just all the time, those knees floating in. Actually, not too bad here at some of them. A lot of studios are a lot worse. Virgin Active, that was. But it's such a common thing that people just aren't aware of these just simple kind of rules, but you need to, we need to study them, to know them, to understand them. And we need to have that awareness of feeling it in our body when we start to come into these poses. So that's for the knees, but for the wrists as well. So as well, we come to crane pose. Oh, it's easier to do it this way, crane pose. So a lot of people do it this way. It's kind of okay in a sense, just to give yourself a bit of a bit of confidence. So I can do it. But yeah, long term, not good because of that. Obtuse angles. That's right now. So again, let's just try coming into your crow again. So this time, think about as you come into it. Think about engaging Hasta Bandha, engaging Mula Bandha, and Uddiyana Bandha. All those three bandhas. So drawing those bandhas in like you're kind of lifting the energy up.
Oh God.
Can we feel any difference by just feeling that awareness of engaging those bandhas and how that can help? You feel stronger? Yeah, it definitely gives you greater strength. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. And that's one of the great challenges is to just get over the fear that we might fall flat on our face occasionally trying these things. So to engage these bandhas, it's like so we understand the basics of like Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. You're squeezing the pelvic floor muscles, drawing them in, sucking the belly in. But there's this extra kind of like, it's not just engage, but it's also engage and lift. So it's this lifting energy. So it's like if you, it's the same kind of energy, like if you were, can anyone do handstands? You can do? Yeah, good. So, haven't tried for 40 years. Well, if you're, I mean, yeah, I'm not particularly good at handstands either. But if you were, let's say, if you were going to try and do a handstand, and you were going to try and do like a kick-up handstand with both feet, rather, like there is that way to go in. But if you were kind of like, kind of bunny hopping your way up to a handstand, do it. Like, don't have to get up. Just think of the action of what are you engaging to do the bunny hop.
I don't think I was going to get that. Is that meant to be harder? I'm confused.
Generally, yeah. So good on it.
I think I'm through. Because you're not really activating like your back kind of core.
Well, it is. It's a lot
Is it?
more. What's bandhas? You really get into the bandhas in this. So you just think of, do just a few in a row. Tick, 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 tick.
It's definitely easier for men.
And then just think of, okay, what was that action that I created in my body to lift myself up? And then now you come to do your crane, and you just imagine that you're kind of lifting up, doing the same action, but just lifting the feet off the floor. And those are kind of like the muscles that we're wanting to use, but just into your crane. Like you're kicking up, like you're bunny hopping up.
It's happening. I've done too many like gym stuff on my arms this week. I'm carrying papers and stuff at work that was nothing.
Now, another way we can work this is to actually, when you're really experimenting with something like this, you could have a bowl spout in front, just to give you a bit of
A mattress.
yeah. And the other thing is you can have a couple of blocks, ideally 2 blocks, so one on each foot, and then you've got not as much to lift up from. Maybe you have to try that. A couple of blocks.
I never find a comfortable spot for my knees.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
It's not easy. That's one of the most challenging parts. But ideally, what we're aiming to do, not so much. I was saying 2 blocks beside each other. That might be a bit high. So 2 blocks. Cut them the other way. Facing ahead.
This?
No, flat, but facing, So 1 for each foot. There we go. Yeah. So with the idea of, okay, where do I place my knees so it's not killing the back of my arm? Yeah. This is this is where the idea of you're trying to create that lift, that inner lift. And so with that lift, it's almost like you're trying to get into that state of like floating. So when you're doing the bunny hops and you've got that moment of suspension, where you're suspended in midair, what are you using? That's it.
Okay, yeah.
You did that for a moment,
Yeah.
but you know, trying to really work on that,
So
so that ultimately the pressure isn't so strong.
yeah.
So if you just kind of collapse into the upper arms, you collapse in there. But if I engage those bandhas and now I lift, it's almost like, see, yeah, I was actually, didn't even need my arms for a moment there, because I'm really lifting, strong in the core, lifting the energy up. So if you can find a halfway point, it becomes actually I'm in that sweet spot now. I'm kind of halfway between lifting. I'm not really feeling it that much on my arm, except for the strength of the arm and the core involved. But I wasn't feeling so much that pressure when you're just collapsing into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those things that requires practice. It doesn't happen overnight. But this is probably generally speaking, the easiest arm balance to get a hold of. Not always, again, it depends on everyone's body. Actually, for me, probably it's not. For me, this one here, I could stay in there forever. You know, the coffee. Like, I really feel quite comfortable. There's something about it in my body where once I'm in there, I'm supported, then it's easy. But that's my body. Whereas this one is difficult, because this one is a lot of internal rotation, and I've got really bad internal hip rotation. I've got pretty good external hip rotation. So for me, externally rotating hips, so that's where it's not just about the strength, it's also about the hips. You know, how do your hips move? Mine internally look flat, rotation internally, externally. Wonderful. So that external, easy for me, that one. I can do it, but it's a struggle. We'll have a go at those in a moment, but let's have a pause and read a little more. So yeah, think poses like this one, Ekapada Kundinasana, extra power, need extra power from your leg, the abdomen, and your back muscles to be able to lift the unsupported leg and prevent from over twisting the upper torso. Now, although one or both legs may be supported, and although there are 3 different placements of your legs, inner thigh, shin, and outer thigh, on top of your arms, in all cases, the pose will be much easier if you position your leg as high up on your arm as possible and as far towards the back of your arm as possible. Because we're looking back about crow pose and crow pose. In fact, having the flexibility of how to get your arms and legs into this integration is the difference between being able to do these poses smoothly rather than not being able to attempt to do them all. If you can squat with your trunk rounded forward between your thighs and your shoulders lower than your knees, probably have enough flexion in your spine and hips too as well. So practice the shin to arm and inner thigh to arm balance. If you can get the top half of your upper arm on the outside of the opposite thigh in Parivrtta Padasvakonasana, evolved spinal pose. Hasasana, this pose, you probably have enough rotational flexibility in your trunk and spine to practice the other thigh-to arm balances. Yeah, these are the ones which require a good internal hip rotation. So basically, you need to be able to hook that elbow to the other side, hook the upper arm to the outside of the thigh, which you all can. Rosie, can you get down further? Yeah. Yeah,
I'll do it that way.
you're the other way in?
This way,
Oh yeah, wow, big difference, eh?
So the left side of my back's where I pulled it, so it's like really tight. Yeah, but this way is okay.
Yeah. But you know, a lot of people can't do that. They can't get the upper arm to the outside of the opposite thigh. So for those people, there's no balance as well. From the start to the outside. But sometimes it can be just because of body shape. But other times it could just be, just need to build that flexibility to it. They could work up to it. So yeah, the rotational flexibility is in the trunk and the spine, as well as obviously the inner rotation of the hip. But yeah, it's not, you don't need a lot of inner rotation of the hip, because I don't have that, I can still do that. So for me, it becomes all in the trunk and the spine. If you can't bend that preliminary, bend that far into these preliminary poses, you need to keep practice. You should also have sufficient wrist extension to place your palms flat on the floor and then move your forearm perpendicular to the floor without feeling pain. If you have wrist problems, you may be able to practice with special hand props such as wedges that elevate your wrists or dumbbell-like gripping bars. So that is another option for those who have a lot of challenge with their wrists. Then elevating the wrists, even just with a wedge or rolling up the mat, can help put less pressure in the wrist. Try that just to see how that feels. When you're flat, you've got that 90-degree angle, then you've got the roll, when you lift up the heel of the hand. Notice takes a little bit of pressure away from the wrist. There are special, wrist wedges. Yeah, it's just a simple option. Just want to move the mat.
Feels good.
So the secrets of the arm balance is using your hands and wrists the right way. When you learn how to properly distribute your weight throughout the hand, specifically in the triad of the hand, the metacarpal knuckles of thumb, index and pointer. Index and pointer are the same. And then these three here, index and little finger. The balance will take on a new feeling of lightness. Learning to distribute the weight and find balance in the hands is very similar to how a baby learns to balance and take the first steps. When learning to walk and balance on the feet, the weight must be shifted onto the toe round, the front of the foot, to achieve even weight distribution in the feet. The same rule applies for the hands. As you move the weight of your body forwards to enter the pose, the triad of your hand should begin to bear the weight. So bearing rather than all the weight just in there, I mean essentially using the whole hand, all the spots that contact the earth. So behind the metacarpals, behind these knuckles, pressing all that into the ground, behind the thumb, but then also the fingertips as well. That's where you really get that kind of hasta bandha, kind of like you gripping, like if you were thrown against the wall and you're, holding on for dear life. So it's all those contact points need to be really pushing into the earth. Once bearing your weight evenly in your hands, you must use your wrists to resist the weight moving forward in the hands and body. Think of the way your ankles push your feet into the floor when you walk to keep you from falling on your face. The same rules applies here. You flex your wrists to push your hands into the floor so you don't fall on your face. 2. Find the correct forearm placement. When the hands are flat, the forearms should start perpendicular to the floor. Stacking of the joints. The further the forearms move forward, the more the body is going to open up in pose. Think of your shins and how they move when you walk. More control is achieved when the shins are moving in a forward angle to keep the weight into the toenail rather than leaning back into the heel of the foot. When it comes to arm balances, this forward motion keeps the weight in the triad of the hand. So you have something to add wrist flexion against. Keep your gaze 6 to 8 inches in front of your hands as another way to keep the weight moving in the right direction. I mean, again, you think about just those angles, as soon as, or just the simple thing of like if you're doing crane pose, if I didn't put my elbows over the wrist, easy, if my elbows were further back. It's kind of just so much common sense really. You can't that angle, need to be that angle to get there. And then you could go a little further forward, putting more weight into this triad here. You won't go too far forward, really. Just try to maintain that steady stacking. This position. But it's often a case of there's a little bit of to and fro. There's a little bit of oscillation. And the oscillation should be from being upright forward rather than backwards. More opportunities to hold the bones than that. Yeah, forwards. The ability to hold it up, let's do it forward. A little bit more. If you still have time, if this technique is new to you, then take it slow. Wrist flexion is a big part of arm balances. And unfortunately, we rarely do the actions necessary in our daily lives to strengthen the wrists. Over time, you will build this strength and improve your arm balances. Probably more than anything, all yoga postures, of course, but what we do in yoga, it's all about the more you practice, the better it becomes, or the easier it becomes. But most definitely with arm balancing. If you feel that arm balancing is something that's important for your practice, is it important, actually? What's the point of arm balances? Yeah, to give you some strength. The things that said here gives you that sense of courage and focus. What was that? Limitlessness. Yeah, it does build that sense of confidence and self-esteem and all that. yeah, I mean, what's your intention? What's your intention for doing yoga in the first place? Why are you here? Transcendence. Go beyond your mind and realize your true nature. I don't think arm balances are going to do anything. They're going to help you get there if they're that point. Really, I mean, in the big scheme of things. However,
But transcend my limits.
you can transcend some things. You can transcend some fears and some of your limits, absolutely. So they can be a metaphor for what we're trying to achieve with our minds, essentially. And they're a bit of fun too. It is a bit of fun, but it's all relative. But as far as I'm concerned, it's nothing to be taken too seriously. Unless that becomes your focus, you might decide, I want to be an arm balancing yogi, and that's 50,000 followers on Instagram because I do all these beautiful arm balances, and that's where I'm going with things. And if that's where you're going, then go for it. But yeah, in the big scheme of things, it's not like one of the most important elements of our practice. That's my opinion. But it's still nice to play around, nice to have a bit of fun with it, nice to explore it, and to build a bit of strength and courage. And a sense of youthfulness too. It's stuff we could all do when we were young. So it revitalizes us when we practice it. Brings us back to our childhood a little bit. So let's have another practice of a couple more arm balances. Ekapada Kundinyasana. B, because that's my favorite. So there's a nice way of doing it prana-wise. So if we sit up, so I might approach this sometimes. Let's say we've done a spine twist. So let's come into a spine twist position. Have your right leg over your left. So right leg over the left. You've done your spine twist to your right. And then you counter twist, go from the other side, you bring the hands down the other side. Now, here's the prana. First prana. Right upper arm, I'm mirroring here, right upper arm, underneath the right thumb. So the back of the upper arm to the inner right thumb. Now this is going to be my ledge. Yeah? The upper arm is going to be the ledge that this leg is going to rest upon. Your right leg is going to rest upon that. So you want that upper arm to get in as much as you can. Then you bring your hands down and come all the way down and even bring your head and your chest down, and then lift that right leg. Take the leg. Yeah? So this is kind of prana one. Awkward? So, Cassandra, you want that elbow to be closer to your groin than to your knee, if possible. So, you're going to come up as high as you can from the inner thumb. High meaning in the room towards your groin. If you're right there, it's going to be harder. You want it to be right up there. Try and straighten up there. And that's the kind of you know, if you can't get to this point, then you're not going to be able to do it. So this is kind of crime number one. Is your body able to get to here? It doesn't have to be straight all the way. But you have to be able to rest that inner thigh over the upper arm. And you can all do that. Yeah? Okay. Crime number two. Now, extend out the left leg and tilt. So come onto the toes and then lift the leg off the floor. So then you bring the weight into your head and into your chest. Yeah, and then Sudha's already done crime number three, lifting then the body off the ground. And what happens there? Feel it in the arms. Yeah, that's where the arms need to stretch. And then you find the balance and you float the toes. Now, but that idea of leveraging your body becomes really important here too. So it's not a straightforward crumma one, crumma two, crumma three.
What do you do with this hand?
You just keep it free.
It's free. Okay.
It's free. It's not in the body. It's free. So we've got to find another element, which is the leverage element, and that one is kind of like it's hard to really. It's hard to. You see, you're doing that now. That arm's not like that. Both hands are like that. So you're in a push-up position with the arms, but then this arm is there. Yeah, this leg is there, and then that's there, and then so push-up position. That is there. That's there. This is another way. Push-up position. That leg there. Then twist around the hips, and then push and lift. Try the other side. Start from the spine twist. So your left leg over your right now, going the other way, left leg over the right. And then we go twisting to the other way. So left upper arm under the left thigh. No, you were going the right way.
Mm.
Go that way.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Left upper arm under the left thigh. So bring that right leg down like that. Yeah. Left upper arm under the left thigh like that. Yeah. And then you lift up your left leg, left foot. That's it. Stretch out the right leg. Now stretch out the right leg. Toes to the floor. Hips towards the ground. So yeah, that's it. And then you got to leverage. So it's about finding. Okay, where do I find the sweet spot where I can lift off?
Racket. Gosh, it's easier that way than the other way.
Well, it's always going to be easier one way than the
Yeah.
other because you've got your good side and your bad side.
Mm.
Sometimes it takes exploring a few different ways in which we can get into it. So that's one way. Another way is to come into a side angle pose. Side angle pose. And then from the side angle pose, bring the hands down to the inside. And then from there, that upper arm, the inner thigh over the upper arm, bend the elbows, and then stretch out the legs. Almost. Now remember all those other things. Your bandhas, and your bandhas in your hands, your bandhas in your belly, and in your
feel my arms are just not strong. Like, but yeah, what you're saying, abundance of take.
3 seconds, woohoo!
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
2 seconds.
Well done.
So we have to straighten this leg,
Mhm.
this one.
As you go down, you can straighten the legs. You can lift and straighten the legs. Is that fine? Are you finding already it's looking seemingly easier going from this way than the other one?
Yeah, I think so. I felt all tangled around there. I don't know if you felt. Do you have your hands close underneath your body or out?
Yeah, close. Well, it's kind of like you're here, and then you come into like a push-up. You bring that arm there, but then there's a sort of a twist. As in, I'll drop that outer hip down, and the other hip's up. Okay. What about Ekapada Kundinasana A? So let's now come into low lunge. Hands in front. Lean forward, twist to whichever side, so the outside of that leg. That's it. That's all right. He's got to do a different leg, so you just do the leg you're doing, and then from there, bring your hand. Now you've got to keep that connection of the upper arm to the outside of the thigh. So actually, just try that first. You know that variation there, where you bring the hand down and the other arm up. Yeah. So we've got that. So we've got the floor on that bottom hand. We're connecting to the floor. Now try and lean into that hand. So hand flat to the floor. Bring the other hand down. And then lean forwards to lift the legs up. So bending the elbows now, you're going to bend your elbows there, Rosa. Like as in you're going to bring yourself forward and down, seemingly, as you're lifting the legs up. Yeah, so. And it's just like that. So watching me, from that lunge, I come forward and down, so bending the elbows, and then I lift the legs and extend them.
I thought you said this was a struggle for you.
Yeah, it is.
But no.
More than the other one. This side's a really bad side. One's a little strong.
You just say that to make us feel better.
Now, these Ekapadas, these are called Ekapada Kundinasana. This one here is A, and the other one, this one's B, this one's A. Ekapada
What leg?
Kundinasana.
No.
Kundinasana is a famous old sage, an old rishi who was famous, and so they just named it, suppose, after him, or whatever it is. So it's the one-legged sage pose, literally translated. But I think it's called the flying lizard pose, I believe. Now, whether it's something that you decide that you're going to take up and do or not, like if you think, okay, this is a pose I want to master, then you're just going to have to get to it and practice. maybe watch a few tutorials. There's probably people out there teaching better than I do. I'm not an expert with these processes, but as a teacher, when are you going to bring it into your class? You know, even like you're not going to bring it in if you've just got a bunch of beginners, you know. But if you know you've got students in your class who actually really enjoy their arm balances, and even if you're not at the point where you're good with your arm balances, as a teacher, it's pretty cool if you can bring it into the class to give them the option. And so it wouldn't be usually a case, I mean, unless you decide you're going to have, right, we're doing an arm balancing workshop, everyone. Then that's fine, yeah, you do that. But if you're just doing a regular vinyasa class, let's say, and you know that you've got some people who love doing your arm balances, whether you know it's just where they're at or showing off or you know, whatever it is, but you know there's always a few people, you know, once you get to know your class, these arm balances, so I'll bring some into that. And so you can use them as a prana. The arm balance can become the final prana, let's say, of a vinyasa series. So for me, I use it. So that one there, Ekapada A. I use it as a krama for our Parabhrita Ashta Chandrasana, for our revolved high lunge. So basically, you know, I bring people a few rounds of this. So, okay, let's come into our revolved high lunge. You know, elbow around the outside of the thigh, twisting, give all the instructions to do that well. And then you might come out and do it. And then if you build, you know, if you're doing let's say vinyasa where you're sort of building things. So okay, next round we're going to twist again, and maybe you could go further and spread your wings. Or, you know, maybe there could be a bind. Or maybe if anyone's got Ekapada Kundinyasa in their practice, you know, arm balance, bring your hands down and float the feet off the floor and come back. So even if you don't do it yourself, you could say, okay, we're doing a revolved high lunge. Anyone with an arm balance practice, feel free to bring your hands down and float the feet off the ground. You can guide it without you having to do it, which is a good thing to do. It's a good krama, a good option to give your students if you think there's going to be. Now, you're going to look pretty silly if you say it and then no one does it and you can't do it either. It's going to be a bit like, oh well, awkward. So, you know, if you're not doing it, it's kind of like you would only guide it if you really know that there's some people out there that will do it. So it's almost like you need to know that beforehand. But, you know, it can be the case. So that's where I would bring in, say, that one there into a vinyasa flow. And, you know, the same with the B, you could be in a side angle pose. And you could say, let's hang out in the side angle. Some of us might take a bind. If anyone wants to do the Ekapada B, then go ahead. Bring your hands down and come into your flying lizard. So that's where you could bring it in. I'll often actually guide people into it from here, like we just did. I'll say, we're doing a twist, we do a counter twist, and now let's do the steps towards Ekapada Kundinyasana B. Now some of you will probably only get to phase krama 1 or 2, but let's just build up to it. So this is krama 1, krama 2, krama 3, and krama 4. And you guide them up to it, and then people can start to build up to it. And then that's a nice way to break it down, where you don't, you know, rather than can you come into it and just bang into it. Everyone can have a go at getting to some stage of it.
I think it's a nice way for people attending the session to work towards it as well.
Yeah, I'll often come back to this one here. So maybe we do this the other week, guys. Let's readdress that, maybe you can go to the next one. Build upon it. That's with those ones, and then there's some arm balances. I mean, crane and crow, of course. You could bring that into vinyasa, but often it's a case of you might do it at the point where, let's say, you come into a malasana. You come to have a point of like thought in the vinyasa, in a malasana, and you might say, all right, this is hang here for a little while. Unless you'd like to try an arm balance. For those who want to go a little further at this point, have a little go at your crane or your crow. You don't like your crane or your crow, just hang here. Hanging here is too difficult. Sit down. Hang out here and wait for the others. Because everyone's different in their body. Some people even just malasana is impossible with their body.
I tried that when I first think of
Oh, yeah.
I love that, and then reminded me to make sure that you keep your option just to sit.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
So we're going to put that on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really important to consider other bodies and not just go from what you know with your body. Usually you don't work it out until you start observing other bodies and think, oh, shit, okay, a lot of people can't do that.
Yeah.
I thought it was just super easy. I mean, that's one of them for sure. Malasana. It's just hanging out for me, like, no problem at all. It's not even a pose really, it's just kind of hanging out.
Yeah.
And then I see people, yeah, it's hard for some people. Mayurasana, the peacock pose. So like that. And then what we do is we lean forward and we bring the elbows into your guts. Elbows into your guts. Lean forward a little and then float the feet off the ground.
How do they bring get that? Please do their way, I think.
Now what did you say, Rosa?
My boobs are in the way.
Bingo! Bingo!
I think you had your hands too far in, like if you have a more shoulder width apart.
Yeah, a bit one.
Oh.
It's a hard one.
Oh yeah, you got everything then. Oh, do this. And we started from like you move your body and then like.
You could try that.
It's weird, it feels weird on your arms, like they're not supposed to go that way.
Okay.
There's harder on the wrists, like you say with that, because yeah, I can see that could damage. Like just focusing, it was like going outside.
Alright, now there's something going on here. You got half of it. Boobs get in the way. If you're a female. And depends on the size of your boobs, obviously. The larger the boobs, then the more difficult it's going to be.
Well, the space really hard.
But then the other thing is, this is a really weird thing that I've noticed. Like, let's all kind of just come onto our knees and bring the arms beside the body. Yeah? Just with the palms facing out now. Now, if you look at each other, there's a slight difference between, generally speaking, between the male arm and the female arm. Can anyone pick it? What's the
Is
difference?
it the rotation up here?
No. Okay,
You want something to do
The
with this
arms
bit?
come forward a little.
Cassandra, come and kneel next to me. So you're going to be the female and I'll be the male. Well, you need to clarify these days. And let's just bring our arms next to our body. And now what's one of the big differences between my arms and her arms? Can you see? What can you notice?
Arms played out a bit more.
Yeah.
Which ones?
Female.
Female arms tend to angle out a bit more, like that. Whereas the male arms are generally straighter, and the female arms tend to have a slight angle from the elbow. Yeah? It's just a natural thing that happens in a difference, generally speaking, not every male and female, because we can be gender fluid even in the way we're made, but generally speaking,
That's hips.
probably good point. Yeah, I never thought of that, but maybe to make way,
Yeah.
so the hips obviously are bigger, so your arms grow naturally in a way to be able to have the hips in the right place, or the arms in the right place for the hips. So what that means is when you're doing that, do that. Yeah, easier for me than it is for you. And definitely hard for you because you've got not just the arms, but you've also got that there. But saying that, it doesn't mean that as a female you can't do this pose, but you're going to have a lot more trouble, a lot more challenges. I know, I've seen female bodies do it beautifully, but it's one of those strange poses. And then we look at that, the other one, Chittibhasana, the firefly, and it's kind of like the opposite there. It's the male that's disadvantaged, and the female has generally more open hips to be able to allow for the legs just to splay out. So it's just an interesting observation that I've made over time, that certain unbalances are going to be easier for men and certainly going to be easier for women. And just generally bodies in the different configurations of how your body's configured means different things will be easier or difficult. So good luck at trying to get Mayurasana. But you can, if you're really super keen, you can find a way to do it. But you'll probably find it easier if you want to. Get in that one as well.
Kind of feels uncomfortable actually for me.
Kind of hard for you too.
Yeah, it just feels uncomfortable. Like I don't know, it's like my triceps are stopping me from going in. It's weird. It feels really uncomfortable.
If you're really buff guy as well, buff guys probably can't do it at all. Again, it requires strength, but if you're super buff.
Or like it feels like my arms shouldn't be rotating in like that. It's like my shoulders are stopping me going like that.
Yeah, it's kind of counteractive in a sense. What do you think about opening up this one? You've got to close up.
Yeah, it's weird.
Close up.
Yeah.
Into your belly. But it's an unusual pose actually. So don't fret if you're not getting there. But for some reason my body does it quite easily. For me, I can hang out here quite some time. I think probably because of my breakdance days. Used to walk around like that, do
Oh my gosh.
When I was 14, I'd be in the laundry room, I'd just go. And then, of course, the classic is handstand.
I'd love to.
And again, handstand is all about practice. practice, you get it. You don't practice, you get it. So we can have a little try now if you like, but if you're not practicing regularly, then you're not necessarily just going to get there. I mean, unless it comes natural to you, some people can. It's something that they develop when they were kids, and maybe they've kept it up over their life, so it comes reasonably naturally. But a good way, if you want to practice, and let's have just a little practice, just to have a feel for it, is you practice with another person. I mean, either with the wall or another person. So if it was with another person, Dennis, if you want to be the handstand up, so can you kind of do this, from your downward dog?
Yeah.
Is that a good way for you to kick up that? Is that the way you normally do it? Or?
Yeah, I reckon for me, yeah, exactly.
So basically, you from a downward dog, more or less, one leg a little further apart so you can kick up, and then your friend is going to be here on the side to assist them. So what you kick up, and you're there to help them up. So once they're up, you sort of grab the legs, and then they find the balance and help them. The main thing is you want to make sure that they don't fall that way.
Yeah.
Back, it's fine. They fall forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's scary. So you're creating a barrier there to stop them from falling that way. And if they're challenged to stay up, then you're also helping them to get up.
Against the wall.
And against the wall, it's just a similar idea in a sense, but you've got the wall there as your.
And we do it against the wall and have a person there to help you not fall back that way.
That's against the wall, you kick up against the wall, so you walk right up and then kick up. And then you push up and then eventually try and push away. But have a try with a friend. You guys try together.
Like to do that handstand, yeah? Okay.
Shoulder in.
Starting in downward dog. Starting in downward dog.
Yeah.
And then you walk up and you try to get your shoulders over your wrists. And then you walk a little closer and then you start to kick up.
Okay.
Hasta bandha with the hands. That's better.
Thanks, yeah, I got you.
Try the one rather than what you're doing is
You know, you can try to do it.
Yeah.
Go from
rather than that, from down.
like this.
So that one
Try to go from
comes
like
up straight
throw.
because the other
You
one
do throw? No?
So you get to there and your friend can.
We've already got one
You
up.
got one up and then
Yeah.
if your friend gives you that
So-
support, then you can get more up.
Alright, thank you.
True. I was thinking you can do like, I was gonna say,
Done it before, like this, and then kind of.
Yeah, that's it.
I can't believe
And as a spotter, also just be mindful not to force the hold. Like if they're only almost there, and you're trying to then pull them up,
I'd be surprised.
then they might collapse.
I think it's-
Down.
Yeah, when your hands are out, I don't feel like it's.
Let's go again.
Oh, it's a little, yeah. It's a little bit. Wait, up. Yeah, go for it, yeah.
I'm here.
Oh, yeah.
The greatest challenge or fear is
Yeah.
once because I'm here.
Alright.
So just go from there.
Oh yeah, that works too actually. If you kind of just try,
You're almost there, huh?
that's so close. That's a good way to do it because I remember I used to like almost kind of walk
That's it.
into it and then kind of lean into it.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's better instead of trying to like jump into it. Yeah. And I can even like maybe pull one leg up and then I'll like.
I'll have a rest of
Yeah.
You're going to try and slow?
Jesus.
I wasn't sure what we were going for. So I thought you were going to try to lift up. But you did it. Well done.
Well done.
Doesn't say that?
No.
Yeah. That's a good way of doing it. Like you get really close and you kind of just lean into it instead of jumping. You just almost
Yeah.
lean into it, you know, and then it's easier to balance because when you're jumping, you're almost having to use the strength to slow the jump back down. You know? If you just lean into it, it's almost more slowly. I just.
It's hard.
It's not easy. I just used to do gymnastics for a long time.
Tough legs, like, just when it kicks it.
Yeah, I used to do
And then finally, so that again,
Like
a
yeah. It sounds actually easier.
then the other one is our forearm balance. Forearm balance is the other one, which are you going forearm balance?
I think so. Yeah.
So the forearm balance, the forearms to the ground. So your forearms need to be shoulder width apart. So shoulder width apart. Remember when we do a headstand, you grab your hands to the upper arm, and you do that. But then forearms are up. So that's the position. And then from there, you're kind of down the dolphin. You've got to really ask the bum to play the piano on its fingers. And then you get up, kick up, and the same thing, you've got your friend spotting you.
This one's harder, isn't it?
Listen no, because you've got a bit more support. You've got all that to support, but your hands are just in your hands. You've got the whole forearm, but it's strong in the shoulders. If you've got really tight shoulders, it's difficult. So it's kind of going to just hawkish bias, because you're bending your back, you're going to try and straighten that.
I straighten my back.
Good. Good. I'll show you.
Yeah.
Can you stop there?
Oh, so you're just going straight up. The other day, we're doing some kind of scorpion thing. Maybe on this way. There you go. Okay.
My body hasn't done that. Actually. But yeah. If you tighten the shoulders, you know, you've got to do like this and it's super beautiful. You've got to do like that. Yeah, good shoulder flexion to start with. And I'll over the time. Shoulder flexion. Shoulder flexion.
They're a bit tight for your head, if you want.
Good time there, yeah. But have a go if you like. Do you want to try?
Try again.
Go on.
Yeah, should go.
It's almost like a headstand, but you
It's
just.
almost like a headstand, but your head's off the ground.
I still feel like I'm kind of hard.
So does that also need to cook?
You got to suck that in a bit more.
Let's
That's
go.
yeah.
Do you want me to keep my arm there?
Trying to remove it.
Yeah, true. I have to suck my belly in. And my head. Yeah.
That's exactly.
Yes.
I'm gonna do this in my hands.
Yay.
Well done. Right. There you can find something out in italics. So elbows a little closer together and hands a little bit apart.
Close together, hands.
Yeah, not that much. Yeah, that's good.
Can't even know.
Good.
Do you want me to take my hands away?
Maybe not. I'm scared.
Tell me when you're ready.
We got both hands, maybe we try removing one.
Yeah, alright. I'm removing.
No.
Yeah.
Yay.
Good.
Yeah. Because I've got this whole pile of that.
Yes, like one.
Yeah, because that felt quite intense.
And then scorpion is kind of what you were getting into. Scorpion was when you do the full back arch. I'll give it a go. I haven't done it again for a while. But for me to get into a scorpion, I used to get into it from a headstand. I find that's the easiest way. So I'll be going to headstand first.
Yeah.
Then to the headstand.
Oh, wow. Phew.
And then ultimately you bring your feet to your head.
Right.
That's good.
Yeah, because you can do a headstand pretty.
Oh, nice.
Then you probably need to pull your arms.
You put your arms last. First you create the back bend. So first,
Okay.
from your headstand, you start to create your back arch, so your hips go back or forward. Hips forward, and you arch your back. Bring your feet back towards your head. And then once you've found the balance there, then you release the arms and lift the head.
Jeez, okay.
You good to go? Maybe just spot the gents, yeah. Get into your perfect headstand first. Make sure you're comfortable in your headstand.
Not there yet.
That's still awesome. Yeah. Your headstand is really good. You can get up really well.
I worked at it.
All right, should we try one more? Maybe two more. Oh, we've still got time, actually. Yeah. What do we call it? The Ashtavakrasana, the eight-pointed star asana. So for this one, you should think how to get into it. I'll show you first, and then we'll try and go into it. I mean, I just sort of come into it, and I'm thinking like this. So like this one, kind of like Ekapada B, but then you cross the legs over, and then you send the legs out to the side. Keep the legs crossed. So whichever leg is the arm that goes under the leg that's bent, the other leg's over the top. Yeah. And then the hands, when that hand's on the inside of the legs, the other hand's out there. And then you lean to that side as you then extend the legs out, crossing your legs. You're almost there. So lean forward and cross and send the legs away. Send your legs out to the side. No, other.
You can do it.
Oh, it's confusing.
Like Cass, your other leg needs to be in front. Yeah, alright. That's it. There you go. Yeah, you did it for a moment. You know, so. If you try that, if you practice that one, you can do that one.
This is what, okay. It's not gonna happen, but at least.
This one's actually easier than some of those other ones, actually.
For you. Oh, in general.
Well, that one's on the inside, like that.
Other side helps too.
Oh, yeah, you want to go the other side?
Yeah.
So the other side is, yeah. Right upper arm in there, yeah.
So do you wedge?
Lift up, lift the bottom off the ground. And then you stretch out the legs.
Oh,
What's going on?
Could you wedge that into your body tonight?
The other arm.
Yeah.
You would. Technically, you're not meant to, but we could just start with it if that can help you.
Hey, nice that you did it.
So, almost, so you have to have the other leg needs to go over the other one. Yeah, no, other way. Yeah, and then you would have been able to have the legs together.
Like separate the legs or leave them touching like that?
You leave them touching, so they're just sort of like crossed over like that. So you end up with the legs, they kind of cross like that.
Yeah.
So it's like.
You floated off though,
Yeah, I think that's one you can master that one. Yeah.
What's it called here?
Ashtavakasana. So I'd like to, in 3 months' time, I want to see that on your Instagram. Picture perfect.
Instagram, that's funny.
One more. I keep saying one more, don't I? I forget the name of this one, but this one might be tricky. But you bring one leg over your shoulder, the other leg's just extended out. And so even if it doesn't go over the shoulder, see mine's doesn't stay over the shoulder. I don't have that opening in the hip to be able to do that. You just get up as high as you can on that upper arm. And so one of these is actually to get the foot over the head. The other variation is to get your foot right over your head. But even if it's just like the shoulder like that, and then the hands to the floor, other hand to the other side, and you lift your bottom off the ground. And then you tilt the bottom back and you lift the legs off the ground.
oh, no.
You need the leg to go up higher on your arm.
Yeah, it's just sliding down.
Slide down. See, this is one where probably if you're a little stockier built, it's easier than skinnier people, I think. Oh, there we go.
That's easy to think,
Yeah, it's usually one side's easier. And then when you want to get really funky, you bring this one, which I forget its name, and you transition to Ashtabakasana, transition to Kapadakamanyasana B, back to Ashtakanjasana, and back to this one. Like that. Cross your legs. Ashtabakasana. And then thread through Kapada B.
Wow.
Yeah, that's rough.
That's cool. I saw a video of big Iyengar doing it as a circuit. You've gone all this crazy, and then I'm like, now it's this pose, and pretty much what you did, but like rounds of it fast.
Yeah.
I was like, now it's this pose, now that pose, this pose is all on balances.
Yeah, pretty crazy stuff.
So, I'm balance experts in the baby.
So one of the best exercises if you're really keen on your arm balances is the old push-ups. Push-ups. I mean that's, you know, it's everything. It's the flexibility, it's openness of the hips in certain ways. It's engaging the bandhas and having a strong core, but also push-ups are going to help to build all that strength there, which is also needed.
What was the last one there? Starting to really stride with your big heart on the shoulder.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's got. I'm not sure.
And would push-ups also be a good exercise just to strengthen the wrists?
Yes. Yep. Absolutely.
Yoga Sutra 1.29, I was like, started laughing.
That's my thing, yeah.
1.2.
Well, you might just think I'm just making it up.
I'm not. I can go look it up.
Yep. Ekahasta Bhujasana. Ekahasta Bhujasana.
How do you spell it?
I might have a different name, because that is doing Chittadasana, or is doing something else, Bhujatadasana. Bhujasana, Eka one hasta hand, Bhuja arm, Eka one hand, arm, hand. Eka hasta Bhujasana, Bhujasana. Ashtabhajasana. Yeah, this is his little section in the arm balance at the end here. So he's got this one, the Titibhasana. Ashtabhajasana, which is called that, Ashtabhajasana. And then this one is the one we were just doing, Ekahasta Bhujasana. And then this one, which I would call Titibhasana, because Dui Hasta Bhujasana. Alright, Ekahasta Bhujasana, Dui Hasta Bhujasana. One arm and then two arms. So you both your arms to support your leg, I guess. And then these what's that one? That's Bhuja Padasana, Bhuja Pidasana, which is kind of like Titibhasana, but where you wrap your feet. And then he's got Mayurasana, with Padma Mayurasana. So Mayurasana with a lotus. And then he's got the forearm balance there. Pincha Mayurasana. And your handstand, which is called Adho Mukha Vriksasana. Adho Mukha Vriksasana. And then we go into other stuff which is not unbalanced with tortoise. Now that's a funky one there, isn't it?
Oh wow.
Bharavasana.
That's like a side plank.
No, he's lying down first of all. He gets his foot over his head. Then he somehow brings himself into that position. That's the one arm.
We should have done that for
Side plank. Imagine that.
And then you end up like that.
Side pretzel.
So he goes up there.
Just forward, no joints.
No. Oh, man apparently practiced 12 hours a day.
No, I believe it. Oh wow, look at his ankle. It doesn't even. No. Okay, no, I thought it was that ankle was from that leg. That's too much, man. Too much. Yeah.
I love that pose. So beautiful. What a stretch.
Oh yeah, that's Titibhasana. Is it called Titibhasana? Yeah, it does Titibhasana.
Oh, yeah, that's what you're saying, strange.
It's straight.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a variation. Legs over the head. Well, it's fine to that. But that's one that you can probably get to, which is Vashisthasana. So when you're doing the side plank, and then you get your big toe lock and you lift up. Vashisthasana. There we go. Good. Getting a little warm. Certainly works here, doesn't it?
What is that book we
That is the Light on Yoga. Iyengar's Light on Yoga.
Did you get the list, Cassandra? We sent a book list.
Oh, is it on Telegram?
No, you weren't in the Saturday group. I can send it to you.
Oh, thank you.
Do you have it?
Oh, that would be wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, I've heard the life yoga, and he's mentioned that a million times.
Yeah. It's a good Bible for the asana. The Light on Yoga. I mean, Iyengar's stuff in general is good. I mean, these are the two books on the sutras that he does. One is Core of the Yoga Sutras, and one is Light on the Yoga Sutras. I'm sort of digging this one more at the moment. I feel more just in a sense, or more.
I remember seeing that
Systematic.
listed somewhere, called the Yoga Sutras.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't remember that.
Yeah. Well, Amy would have. She prefers this one. I prefer this one. So if she created the book, she would have put that one in.
Yeah.
I would say, but it doesn't matter. They're both. This one's just a bit more systematic in a sense. It's actually just the sutras one by one,
Oh, okay.
with some intros,
I think a photo of
some solid intro stuff. But this one is like it's more just commentary on it. And
They're
then-
by different authors.
No, it's same author. And then the sutras are written systematically at the end, but only in Sanskrit. So I don't think it's.
I think it's on the book list as well. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So I mean, definitely some good.
All of these.
There's some really good there's some really good discussions on the Yoga Sutras in here, basically. Good discussions on the Yoga Sutras. Good analysis of the different subjects and topics of the sutras. But this one is actually kind of like in more long-term. Well, it actually goes through each sutra one by one. Gives you the translation, the transliteration. So you can actually, it's more sequential in that sense. Actually, I mean, get them both.
So you said our book list for Friday.
But sometimes we would recommend. You don't have to have any books.
Yeah.
You can just have your manual and that's all you need. But we recommend to build a library of books because they're really useful to what we do, to have as reference.
Yeah.
So you want to start to understand a little bit about the sutras. Studying the sutras from finish to end is many years of pursuit. That's not something you can do in your 200-hour course. I'm still in the process of that.
Yeah.
I don't know them from beginning to end. I haven't really analysed them all as yet.
Yeah.
I'm still in that process. So it's a long process of actually getting to understand. Yeah, they're really useful to have. And then the other really useful yoga philosophy book is this one, the Upanishads.
Reading them.
The Upanishads
Yes, I saw that.
also really useful to have. Not just useful, it's something you just want to have this.
Yeah.
You wouldn't not want to have this as a yogi. It's just something that you'd want to just every now and then pick up, and they are just little stories, basically. They're short stories, which are all, it's not consecutive, they're not related, they're all just individual little short stories of wisdom, essentially. And this is giving you the wisdom of Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta, These are the teachings of Advaita Vedanta, which is the non-dual philosophy of India. So understanding non-dualism. This is the book for that. There's also the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita also expounds upon some of the non-dual philosophy, but it also looks into some of the other streams of yoga. Bhagavad Gita, you understand, goes into a bit about bhakti yoga, about karma yoga. So also, those, let's say those three, Upanishads, Sutras and Gita, these are your three main texts for wanting to dive into yoga philosophy, understanding the essence. And then as far as understanding the asana, then that's a good book, the Life in Yoga. There is the Yoga Sequencing book, which is not here. Yoga Sequencing book is a great book for understanding just that, just how to sequence and
Who's that
also.
by?
Sorry?
Who's that by?
Who's it by? What's his name? Western name, like
Is it just titled Yoga Sequencing?
Yoga Sequencing by Mark Stevens, yeah. Good book, and that also, you could almost have that and not bother with the Bhagavad Yoga if you wanted to, because that also lists some of the postures in there. So you could use that as your posture Bible and sequencing Bible. You could
What's that one called?
Yoga Sequencing by Mark Stevens or Stevenson? Stevens. Mark Stevens. Yoga Anatomy is another good book to have. Understanding the Anatomy of Yoga by Leslie Kaminoff. Probably one that I should study a bit more, because I'm not so much into the anatomy. But yeah, if that's there. Asana Pranayama Mudra Bandha.
It's not on the list.
This one is a classic that in most teacher training courses in India, this is their teacher training manual, actually. This is their sort of foundational book. So it's a great one to have. However, what I recommend is that you actually don't bother so much with the asana in here. Use it more for your pranayama, your mudra and bandha section, those sections. Because the asana, comes from the Himalayan school, the northern school. Whereas Iyengar and Patanjali, Iyengar and Pattabhi Jois, who's Ashtanga, so Ashtanga and Iyengar, they come from the southern schools of yoga. And we in the West have adopted more the southern style of asana than the northern style. So if you study the asana here, they have all different names, and you just end up getting confused. You can still do it if you want, but if you start rolling off these names in a class, people will be like, whereas they'll know those names more. That's simply the main reason. But the pranayama, the mudra and the bandha section in here is really comprehensive. I mean, comprehensive enough. If you want further comprehension with your pranayama, then this one. Prana and Pranayama, same series of books by Swami, different Swami actually, that one's Swami Sivananda Swaminathan, that's from Swami Nima on the same time. But this is a fantastic book for Pranayama, really, really good.
Swami Saraswati.
Swami Niranjananda Saraswati. But these, you see, these books here are from the Bihar School of Yoga, Bihar, and they're also the Bihar publisher. So if you even look up the Bihar books or something like that, they've got stack of books actually on yoga, on all different subjects. These are two great ones to have. Another one which I recommend if you're interested in is Kundalini Tantra. So that's also from the same series. Kundalini Tantra is a fantastic book to understand Kundalini Tantra. And we'll do a lecture on that soon, shortly, in a few weeks. Then there is Iyengar does a light on pranayama, so he does lights on everything, you know, light on the sutras, light on yoga, light on pranayama. It's also very good. But if I were to choose out of these two, I'd choose that. This is also a good book. I mean, there's so many good books, but this is also a good book. The Heart of Yoga by Desikachar. Desikachar was the son of what's his name? Krishnamacharya. Krishnamacharya is kind of like known as the godfather of modern day yoga, even though he was around 200 years ago. But he bought, let's say, maybe 200. He sort of formalized the yoga that we know today, in a sense. One of the main sort of guys who did that. So he was the teacher of Iyengar, Dr. Tabi Joyce. So he was the teacher of Iyengar, who created Iyengar yoga. He was the teacher of Tabi Joyce, who created Ashtanga. And he was the teacher of his son, Desikachar, who created the yoga of yoga therapy, therapeutic way, Vin yoga, but basically therapeutic yoga, yoga therapy, what you would call today yoga therapy. So this book, Heart of Yoga, is a good book that gives you sort of insights into. It sort of breaks down the 8 limbs of yoga. Actually, that's what it does, and then it sort of expands upon the different sections. So it talks about the asana, gets into a bit of detail about how we use asana, talks about the yamas, the pranayama, and then meditation. And then at the end, it's actually got the Yoga Sutras as well. So you could almost potentially not bother with Iyengar, and just you got your Yoga Sutras there, listed by Desikachar. I think that were his commentaries. Yoga Sutras. Heart of Yoga. All right, team. It's past 5 o'clock. Your homework is to name 7 arm balances, list 5 benefits, and list 5 kramas. How you might come into that.
List 5 benefits and 5 kramas
For each arm balance.
Space in here to do it, or was it?
Yeah, you could. I mean, you pretty much got it all there. Do it like that.
So,